All right, Paolo. Well, thank you so much for joining me again on Crypto World. Tether said earlier this month with the announcement of a new CFO that it's also going to be pursuing a full audit of its reserves. Now, this has been controversial for the company in the past. You and I have talked about it before. It's never done one, only attestations. What is the timeline that you're working on for this audit, and what steps does Tether need to take at this point to get to that outcome and to the complete audit?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me. Definitely, our full audit is a top priority for the company. Tether International Business will go through a full audit. We already have an engagement letter in our inbox from one of the big four auditing firms. So, of course, timelines might vary, but it's again top priority. So we hope that it will be concluded as soon as possible.
Well, so that is very comforting to hear, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The company has promised many times in the past that it would get an audit, several times about 10 years ago in 2015. So very early in the game for Tether. And then a couple of years later, a couple times post pandemic, and then again this year. Why should investors believe that this time it's going to be different?
Well, the administration in the US is different. Everyone remembers for sure Senator Warren discouraging any top auditors to engage with crypto firms from 2022 and onwards, and even before that, there was a lot of skepticism on cryptocurrency companies. FTX didn't help the sector, I must say. So again, I can only reiterate that we are going to double down on our efforts in concluding a full audit, and that will be and will remain top priority until it gets done.
Well, let's move on. So you're in the U.S. for the first time, I believe. You were in D.C. last week, which was at the time of the White House Crypto Summit. I'm curious your thoughts on what happened there. What do you make of the outcomes of that event? Attendees seemed like they were really energized and invigorated. The market was a little disappointed, though, particularly where the Bitcoin reserve and the crypto stockpile were concerned. What are your thoughts on that announcement?
Well, look, I mean, the crypto industry always wants to have more and more and more. I mean, 2024 was a great year with the Bitcoin ETF being approved. And this year started in a very positive way with the Bitcoin Strategic Fund announced. And the administration the new administration is very positive towards crypto. So I think we have to be positive. We have to keep working with the administration, with lawmakers in the US. Nothing should get or nothing comes granted. So it's up to us now to give the comfort and confidence that it's the right decision to support us, to support the crypto industry from the administration. And there is still a lot to build. So I'm very positive, and I know that everyone across the industry is working to make that happen.
The idea of the crypto reserve or the Bitcoin reserve really has been just such a big theme since Senator Lummis introduced it last year, and President Trump mentioned it in Nashville. It was one of his big campaign promises, which a lot have pointed out is really distinct from the regulatory overhaul that the industry is hoping for. Is there any reason for Tether specifically? Do you guys feel strongly about the Bitcoin reserve? Is there one reason or another that would benefit Tether directly?
Well, I have to say that Tether, full disclosure, is very heavily invested in Bitcoin. We support Bitcoin as a technology, as its philosophy, with that is basically financial freedom. We believe that Bitcoin is the best currency ever created. It's the only currency in the world that is governed by math and is not governed by humans, so that it does not fall into the trap of being manipulated or inflated, depends on the needs and changes of will of few people. So we are very excited to see that happening, and I think that is just the right thing. Bitcoin is the only asset that is truly scarce. There are only 21 million Bitcoin in that could be ever minted, and there are many more millionaires in the world than just 21 million. So just do the math, and it would just make sense for everyone to have a little bit of exposure to it as well.
At the White House Crypto Summit, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said, we're going to keep the US the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we're going to do that using stablecoins. When you hear that, when you read that quote, I don't know if you were there, but what does that mean to you? What would that look like? And further to that, what is your relationship like currently with this administration, and what have your discussions on stablecoins, which are the most low-hanging fruit for regulation right now? What have those discussions been like, and are you hopeful that you'll be able to operate here in the US soon?
Stablecoins are the best product for the United States dollar hegemony. Tether, in particular, is the company, and USDT is the stablecoin that worked harder and hardest for the US dollar hegemony. We have been having a great success outside the US. We operate in all the emerging markets, developing countries. We see we have our user base growing up to 400 million users. We see an increase of 30 million new wallets per quarter. That is almost like Facebook social media levels, while we are simply a digital dollar. So that is incredible and proves, and we are very excited to see that Scott Bessent and the president and all the administration and lawmakers are recognizing the importance of a technology that Tether actually created in 2014. So to us we are very proud of that. We're proud of something that we created 11 years ago now, is being subject of both enormous interest, a lot of debate, and a lot of support from directly the most important people in the world at this point.
Yeah, I think people really are starting to see the importance of the technology. USDT is no doubt the leader in dollar-backed stablecoins. It's got just under a 70% market dominance as of this morning. How do you see the market of stables evolving? You've got some competition with Circle, which is, I couldn't help but notice, kind of been chipping away at your market cap as of this year, 2025. But it's not just Circle. It seems like everyone now has a stablecoin. There's Ripple with RLUSD. There's the joint stablecoin from Robinhood, Kraken, and Galaxy. If regulation goes positively, we're likely going to see U.S. banks start to launch their own stablecoins. Senator Haggerty's Genius Act is being marked up and voted on in the Senate Banking Committee today. So what is your outlook on this market, given all of the increasing competition and the positive movement in terms of the regulatory direction? What does all of this mean to you?
Well, I think that competition is great. What we're seeing from the competitors, though, is extreme focus on US soil and institutions. Tether success derives from focus on emerging markets, developing countries, and focus on building adoption, building infrastructure from the ground up, from kiosks, shacks in Africa, in the smallest villages in Africa, to bodegas in Central South America. We have been every single day in the trenches, in the streets, in every single city and small town, to build the adoption for the US dollar. So that is very unique to us. I see competition trying to, maybe incentivize the usage of their stable coins with the revenue share and all that. I don't think in the emerging markets will work. I think Tether built for the last 10 years the biggest financial distribution network, physical and digital, that humanity ever seen. That's why we welcome competition. We think that they would cover a section of the industry that we don't cover, that is the institutional base. I think that they will all compete with each other, but we are really not bothered by them.